today's video. So today I am actually starting the event prepping series because we've had the very exciting news that BE have had the green light, which means we can hopefully get back to eventing soon. So I've got both girls out to show you, but today I'm doing like the trimming, pulling manes and tails, clipping, legs, faces, everything like that. So this series is like going to be everything I do to prepare for an event. I thought it would be really good for anyone starting eventing, or just if anyone wants any tips or tricks, or just seeing how I do it. That's what I'm going to be doing. There's going to be plenty of videos coming in this series, but I thought I would I'm doing it in kind of like the order that I would do it if I was eventing. So I'm doing this first.
Yeah.
Right, so I'm going to start with the face. I'm going to go kind of front to back of the horse. I'm going to use Kira. I'm not going to lie, I don't know why I'm using Kira because she's probably the worst one, but she's the only one that's probably about due for me to be clipping her face. So I use my smaller pair of clippers. Obviously I don't really want to be going on their face with a massive rattling pair of clippers. I've just oiled them as well. So I'm just going to turn them on and let her get used to them. They are quite loud actually. They're not usually this loud, I don't know what's wrong with them, as you can see. She's not looking too pleased by the idea. I don't know how she's going to be, but we'll just see. So, grab her over here. Just gently start like on the nose.
Yeah.
Right, so you just kind of go against the growth of the hair on the muzzle. It doesn't matter too much. So as you can see, Kira's not loving this, but keep doing it. She does kind of get used to it. So that is now her muzzle done. She wasn't too bad, it just takes her a while to get used to it. So as you can see, I've just taken all the whiskers down. I just think it makes a much neater look, and I think as much as it's such a small thing, it does make quite a big difference. So now I'm going to do her jaw. So I just undo her head collar for this. Kira isn't actually too bad, but I just go upwards, up the back of the jaw, just up with the clippers and try and get as many of these little wispy overhanging hairs as I can. So, see what she thinks of this. So yeah, all I do is just these, just up the jawline. I don't need to go any further, just to make sure she's not got any bits hanging off.
Need a hand babe.
So she comes over. That's her jawline done. I just think it gives their face a crisper look, and with the muzzle and the jawline done, I think it makes them look a lot smarter. Kira, do you want to be in the camera? So that's basically everything on their face, apart from their ears. I'm not sure if she's going to let me show you her ears. The only one that really lets me do their ears is Duncan, who does what he's doing. Phoenix is also quite funny about her ears, so I would show you on her, but I don't think she'll have it. So I'll see what I can do with the ears. If not, I might just grab Duncan out. So if I'm with Kira, it's easier to get the high ground. I'm going to start by doing a bridle path, which is quite simple. And all you do is, if she lets me, come on, sit down. Just go backwards against the hair, and that's pretty much all I do. Just make sure every old bit's off, and don't make it too big. Mine has got a bit big over time, but that's the bridal path. Just zoom in. that's it. As you can see, it didn't really take much. So that's that done, really easy. And then ears, all I do is just go against the hairs again. Mainly on the outside, I don't bother too much with the inside, just because I can't imagine the noise is nice in their ear. I don't really like this buzzing in our ear, to be honest. Good girl. Can't believe Kira's actually letting me show you. She's usually quite silly with clippers. So I'm going to leave that at that on that ear, just because Kira doesn't usually let me clip her ears, so I'm really happy that she's just let me do that, and I don't want to be going inside her ears and ruining the experience for her, so I don't want her thinking it's a bad experience. So that's one ear done. I'm going to go off camera and do the other, and then I'll be back to show you Maze.
Action!
Right, so she's had a face all done, her ears, which I'm very surprised she just let me do that easily. So now I'm going to do her mane. I would do Felix's, but it's nowhere near as bad as Kira's. As you can see, Kira's is just a bushy, long mess. So I'm actually going to start by scissoring it. It used to be like a thing that you didn't scissor manes, but recently a lot more people do it. I find it a lot easier, so yeah, I do that. And yeah, so I'm just going to go along, kind of cut it to a suitable length. It doesn't have to be that even, because you'll see what I'm going to do afterwards, but just kind of cut it. Yeah, doesn't really matter where. As you can see, Kira's mane is really thick, which is kind of what makes it look so stupid when I cut it, but I'm going to sort that out. You're in the shop. Just want to be in the limelight, don't you, Kira? So that's roughly, I'm just going to cut all the loose bits, the length I will cut it to before I pull it. It's a lot easier if it's already like roughly short enough. Otherwise, you're just pulling and pulling and pulling. And Kira's a horse that really hates having her mane pulled, so I don't really want to spend an hour pulling a mane. I'm just gonna quickly show you something which I use for mane bits like this, where the where she's rubbed on rugs. So I'm just gonna go and grab something. I use this product. It's called Megatech, and I've had it for years. It's lasted me years, and it's like a coat rebuilder. It can be used on dogs, cats and puppies, but I use it for horses. It can be used for horses. And I just wash her mane in it, and it makes it grow quite fast, to be fair. It's really good, and from what I remember, it smells amazing. It smells of coconut, I think, and whenever I wash my horses in it, you can smell it for days afterwards, and it smells really nice. So that's what I use on the rubbed bits of maize, and I find that really works. So as you can see, her mane is looking pretty hideous right now. So all I do is get one of these tools. I know that Solo Comb do a really similar one, and just basically go through it for ages. Especially Kira, she's got because Kira's like taking most of the Welsh D bloodlines, her mane's really thick, so I just spend ages going through it with this, and it takes a lot of hair out, as you can see, and it doesn't hurt her, which I can tell because when I pull her mane, it does actually hurt them a bit, and that's when she starts to play up. So as you can see, she can't care less, so it doesn't bother her. Right, so I've just spent ages going through it with this. I don't know if you can tell, but it is a lot thinner and a lot just nicer. The ends don't look as blunt from the scissors. So now once I've done that, if we go around the other side, I bring it all over and do the, just because I find, especially when plaiting Kira, her underside is a lot thicker than her top, so it ends up making the plaits really dodgy. So I just bring all her mane onto the other side and do this down the other side of it, and it makes it look a lot better on the other side as well, and makes it less thick underneath. Right, so now I've done that on the other side, I just brush it all back over. I'd always brush it afterwards just because, as you can see, it's getting all these loose hairs out. It doesn't help that Kira's finding whatever she's finding on the floor. And that is her mane. It has gone quite like sticky up and bouncy. That's probably because it's freshly cut. But if it stayed this way, I'd probably just plait it down, just to train it to sit down to a neck a bit more. Yeah, so that's the mane. Next we're going to move on to the legs. So I'll be back when I've got my clippers ready. Right, so I'm ready for the legs. So with Kira's the one that I mainly have to do this to because of the DNA, as I said about the mane. So just take off her fetlocks and go around a coronet band. Coronet bands can be done with scissors or clippers, as can the fetlocks, but I always tend to do the fetlocks with clippers. They're not too bad, they've just got a bit there, so I'm going to take that off. I'll show you the coronet bands with scissors and clippers, just because I find that clippers can be a little bit risky, and if you go wrong, it goes wrong quite badly. As you will have seen if you saw my, I think it's Pampering the Horses video, I went wrong there. It didn't look great. So, all I do is just go against the hair again, up the back of this bit, I can't remember what it's called. Take off all these extra little hairs, these feathers. It's not actually that bad this time, so it won't take me too long. So that is actually that one done. As you can probably tell from the video, it looks a bit like, you can see the edges a bit, but once that's grown a bit in a couple of days, you won't even be able to tell, and it will look really good. It doesn't look that bad, to be fair, but that's that. So I'm going to do the rest of her legs now, and then I'll be back to show you the finished product. Kira's kind of ruining the shot, but I'm now going to show you the coronet bands, which is obviously this here. Phoenixes don't grow down, so I don't never have to do phoenixes, just Duncan and Kira. So it's just kind of tidying up so the hairs aren't growing over the hoof as much. So I'm going to show you with scissors first. Oh, get out the way. And basically all I do is so all I do is just cut, just like, it doesn't have to be exact, just roughly in a line to where you start to see like a join there. So I just go slightly below that, just so, just looks a lot neater, especially when you're applying stuff like hoof oil. It makes a massive difference because you're not got the hairs like overhanging it. Phoenix, good girl. So I just find it makes quite a difference there. Stop. So I'm now going to show you on the other front leg with the clippers. Kira, mind out. I just thought I'd quickly say I wouldn't recommend sitting on the floor, but I do trust Kira. I would just stand up and do it, just because if your horse does suddenly jump or anything, then you will get crushed. So it's the tentacles on. And then just like go to your line and literally just go like that, and as you can see, just take it off. So I just kind of do that all the way around, as straight as possible. And it's a lot quicker than scissors, but scissors are sometimes easier and sometimes look better. So that's that one done. As you can see, it's really quick, and that's what it looks like. So I'm going to go and do a back hooves, and then we will be pulling tails. Right, so I'm going to start with trimming tails. A tip is I would never use scissors. Obviously you can if you want, but clippers make for a much straighter, nicer. So just take the tail, run it down through my hands, and just kind of hold it and just let your clippers take their time, because they're not made for obviously clipping tails. And I just think that makes for a much straighter, cleaner cut. I could probably take a bit more off that tail, to be fair. I'm going to leave it at that. So now I'm going to show you how I pull the tail. So Phoenix's tail I tend to pull with this tool again, because I don't want as much of a clean pull on Phoenix. I think it's like the different shapes of bums. I don't think Phoenix's needs as much of a clear like pull. So with this, I just like pull the outside hairs in and just go down like that, and it, as you can see, it's pulling the hairs off. I do it on the inside as well a bit, just the top half of the tail really. I go down to kind of like just under the main bit of bum bone either side, and then so you do that on both sides. Phoenix isn't too bad at the moment. Phoenix seems to quite enjoy this. So I just do that repeatedly until I get the look that I want. So that is now Phoenix's tail done. I've made it as even as possible, and I think it looks 10 times better. Also, if I want to thin the tails out, I'll also go a bit further down like that, but Phoenix's tail is quite thin already, so I don't bother doing that with her. So now I'm going to show you how I clip tails on Kira's tail. Right, so clipping the tail, you do have to be careful because you can go really wrong and it can look awful. Kira's doesn't need doing too much, it looks alright, but I am going to go over it so I can show you. Kira, you'll start me clean first. There we go. So all I do is take the tail up to start with, and it's not really helping me. If you go like along the inside on a forward stroke, don't go too high up because it will make it look bad. As you can't really tell I've done that, but once I do the next step you will. So you can kind of see under there where I took it off. And then I go along this side with it straight down. This is really hard to work. I'm going to go up just because it's not really working with my clippers. And you just kind of go along to where you want it, but be really careful not to slam into their tails, because then you'll just completely ruin it. So that's kind of like one side, and I've got a bit of a long bit here, so then I'll just grab what I used for Phoenix and just take that off. And that's what I do. I think that looks a lot cleaner. You can probably see the comparison on both sides now, like it's sticking out here. It looks a lot cleaner on that side. So that's all I do. I will go over it a bit with this just to neaten it up a bit. And Kira I do actually take a bit of tail out of as well because it is so thick. And I just find this tool is really good because it doesn't really hurt them. So that is now everything done with what I do to tidy up my horses. I'll usually do this probably about a week before I go eventing, just because then it allows for any mistakes, if I've made any, to like go back and sort itself out. I'm really shocked at how well behaved Kira was. Very good girl. So that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. There'll be many more parts of this series coming soon. So thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.